And he's like, oh my God, like they sound so different than what I was expecting. I was like, what'd you expect? And he was like, just like weirdness, like screeching, like just I don't know. They look fucking like they look like little freaks. I don't know what to expect. Like, I never really listened to them ever, but they just sound like a classic rock band.
Dude, also just to reiterate on the story, so I wasn't able to go to the concert. I was supposed to. A fan of the channel bought us some tickets a while back, and I ended up not being able to get off of work. And so I was like, Andy, like I feel really bad. Is there anybody else you can take? He was like, I'll take my dad.
Mm-hmm.
We get asked this all the time on the channel. They're like, man, these guys have jumped the shark. How have they never heard this band before? What did their parents listen to? This is a prime example. Andy's dad didn't hear Kiss either. So this is not like just a him thing. It's like
I almost felt like I had to convince him in the beginning because like I know this like the stereotype because I probably dude the thing is in my life prior to that concert I probably said at least 100 words of just negative phrasing on Kiss's name on their blood, and I will straight up never do that again. And my dad agrees. But when I'm originally beckoning him to like do the show or go to the show with me, I'm like, listen to this Kiss show. Like a fan bought us tickets. It'll be a great time. Like nothing that like I'm like. He's like, what do they sound like? I was like, I think it's kind of like a rock disco mix blend thing. I was like, nothing beer can't help. And he was like, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
As we're pulling up to the amphitheater grounds and stuff, like the first thing we notice. Because one of the jokes when I was at his house and we were bantering with Emily and Anna and my dad, we were all talking shit. Like, the people watching is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, like, what's the audience gonna be like? When we got there, dude, surprisingly normal. That was the first thing we noticed. Surprisingly normal.
Okay.
Second thing, pretty girls everywhere.
Dude, here's what I'll say. Just to his credit, I get this text in the middle of my day where he goes, I'll read it right now. I'll put it on the screen. I just get this text from you that goes, bruh, there's high-key a shit ton of fine-ass girls here. And I go, I've heard. And he goes, wait, really? I didn't know this was a thing. Which I only know because of my brief single stints on Tinder where everybody I matched with that was cute was like, oh, yeah, I had a picture of them at a Kiss concert. And I was like, I feel like this is strange to me. But okay.
Yeah. That was like the second thing we noticed. I'm like, okay. We get in, we get like McUltra. And dude, by the way, these beers that we were getting, dude, like 25 ounces. I'm talking, dude, this kind of girth. We're talking like this. Like
it's a big girth.
Pretty big girth. And it's like this. Huge.
Holy cow. How many of those did you drink?
I drank 3, my dad drank 4.
Okay.
We were enjoying the show.
Yeah. Because here's what I'll say. There's no show that beer doesn't make substantially better.
Yeah.
But I had no idea that Kiss was going to be a good show. Like, even me, when you were telling me this morning, you're like, dude, I cannot wait to tell you about the show. I thought I was going to be like, oh, man, it was not a good show. Far from it,
dude,
apparently.
We're like halfway through, and I look at my beer, look at my dad, and I was like, God, you know what's crazy? I feel like they would have been just as good without the beer. Like,
no
dude, we were in freaking agreement, and I was like, but it only helps still. He's like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
And then when Kiss comes out, they looking like ridiculous, but like at this point I felt like I kind of had an idea, like I understood what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Like what their brand was really trying to accomplish. After the first show, the main guitarist singer, I think he talked most of the show. He was the main frontman from what I understood. And he sold me within 10 seconds. Because he was just like Tampa! God, is it good to be back here? And it was like the way he talked. He was like, now, the first time we were here was back in 1974. Now, that was before a lot of you were born. And then my dad looks at me, he goes, I was born in 76. I was like, holy shit. He was like, yeah, like this skipped me. He was like, this is like my dad's music. And I was like, no, Dad, this wasn't your dad's music. This would have been if your dad had a kid and then that kid had you, then your dad, this would have been his music. I think it just skipped our bloodline.
Holy cow.
And he was like, that actually makes sense. So literally just like, in terms of like my bloodline, it just skipped rock and roll. There was no teenager Emerton jamming out to rock music, really.
Holy cow.
Which is pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then like by the 1/3 mark, I go out to my dad and I'm like, honestly, everything they've done so far, song-wise, like anything they've said, I just keep thinking in my head, like, that's fair. Everything.
Yeah.
Like that they were doing. It all just felt like such confidence. Like, and I think you only get that from like 40 years of like playing together, or 40 plus years of playing together, touring, and just like rocking out. Like they just had such like just like chemistry. And we had the feeling like they had to have been playing at minimum 85, but maybe some could argue even 100% of what they were playing like back then. like the energy felt like nothing had changed. And maybe part of it is because they have like the costumes and the makeup, so they almost get into like this state that maybe feels timeless to them or something.
Yeah.
But like even like all of it just felt like they were singing it and playing it with the same energy and same like enjoyment like back in the day. And probably the best example of that is when they were playing like when they did get to their hit songs and they really built up a lot of attention. They didn't really play many hits until around that.
Which one did we do on the
2:30
channel?
mark.
We did
I think the biggest one we've covered from them is the "I Was Made for Loving You." Is that what the song's called?
Yeah.
And dude, the way they got to that was insane. So they're on the stage. It was this whole thing. And, you know, there's this whole buildup of like, all right, guys, now I want to do something fucking crazy for y'all, but I need you to say my name. And everyone just, I think everyone screams. He's like, I mean, that was all right, but you guys can do better, Tampa. And then he goes again, and everyone goes again. He's like, now, I'm not a gambling man, but I'd reckon 3 times a charm.
Oh my
everyone
gosh.
goes, he's like, okay. And then he grabs the guitar. He grabs on this mini like lira hoop, like very small hoop on a steel cable. Grabs onto that shit and goes out like 50 feet into the audience.
No way.
Onto this fucking platform. He's like, I think I'll play here for a minute. And then he plays a banger.
Yeah.
And then after that, he's like, all right, guys, I'm having a great time out here. I'm in the middle of you guys now. I just got to ask you a question. Everyone screams.
Like, what?
And then we're like, why? He's like, since I'm already out here,
Since I flew all the way out here,
can I play one more song?
can I stay out here for one more song?
And then everyone's like, yeah. And he's like, okay. But you got to sing along. This is an easy one for you. Easy, very easy. It goes like this. Do 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 do. And dude, everyone goes nuts and then starts humming it. And literally, like at this point, the entire arena, the whole lawn, everyone is humming that. Like they're doing that melody.
way.
And then they freaking just start the song. And it
Holy cow.
dude, the energy was just like freaking immaculate.
I'm so upset that I got called into work.
Immaculate. And then he's like, all right, that was cool or some shit. And he grabs on the lira thing or the little hoop, yeets on back over there, and then everything goes pitch dark. Everyone's quiet. And then I see in the distance, I see like a freaking like white grand piano getting pushed out there. And I see and the light spotlight goes on. It's the drummer. He starts playing, and dude, this man like whipped out it felt like the most beautiful ballad for the occasion. I think it's called Beth. I'm guessing it's about like a girl he had back in the day when they were writing songs. It's like, just a few more hours, babe. We just can't find the sound. And it's like, I'll be back sooner, like just basically shit like that, where it's like, I'll come home soon, babe, but like I have an obligation to the people and to my boys to like to get like this sound going. And dude, this man just sounded like Rod Stewart. Like the freaking drummer. And the thing is, he sings like this now. When we sounded like then, like it felt like all their voices, like the main guitarist who was singing most of the songs, the bassist who had the more bluesy grit songs, and then that guy who just whipped out the freaking ballad. He sounded like a mixture of like Phil Collins and Rod Stewart. Literally.
Wow.
Whipped it, he's on piano, and he's like, and part of it, I got goosebumps because it feels like it's the first time he's playing the song. Like, and you know, even the I Was Made for Loving You, Baby, that song too, all of it just felt like it was their first time playing it almost. It's like, how do you maintain like that much like genuine feel like in your music? I don't know, it just feels like you can't understand Kiss unless you see like their live show, because at first it feels like the biggest mainstream cult ever that just does not make sense.
Yeah.
If you like haven't like been to the show, but like once you go, you're like, oh, that makes sense. And we talked about it on the way back, and we feel like they're just geniuses of branding.
Yeah.
Because they're like, okay, we're gonna play classic. We're gonna do classic rock. We're gonna have we're gonna do like rock songs. And we're gonna have a lot of pop elements, some disco elements. We're really gonna like have this really marketable sound, right?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna make our look just fucking so outlandishly insane. And we're gonna get all this attention. 85% of people who see us are gonna go, that's gonna disturb me. I'm never looking at you ever again. And then they never will. But then they get that 15% of millions and millions and millions who go, I'll check them out. And they go to a show, or they really just actually take a little deep dive, and they're like, sold.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they have millions and millions and millions of fans that spans over a career of like 40 plus years. And it's like, what a way to like do it. Because that's ballsy.
Yeah.
You're gonna do this outlandish thing to get everyone's eyes on you, and you know a majority are gonna hate you for it, and then you're gonna get a small subsection who give you a chance. But the thing is, if they give you the chance, you're so talented and good to where they're sold immediately. And that's how it felt.
Holy
like
cow.
it felt like their sound lived up, all their voices, all the instrumentation. Dude, there were several guitar solos where he was ripping it. There's a section for like 8 minutes. He was just playing random shit, and it didn't feel like noodling. He was just like shredding, and it felt very purposeful. There's a crazy drum solo, that the one guy did on his own. Like everyone, like a bass, like they all had their own kind of like moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
During the drum solo, he's going nuts, doing all this crazy shit, and then he'll go like his drumstick at a camera that's aimed there.
No
and then
way.
On the screen, you just see his face, and the drumstick like and he's like and then it's like to the other side. It is so theatrical, like the showmanship, the whole vibe is that like they weren't taking themselves too serious, and you got the energy like they never took themselves too serious.
Yeah.
They're literally just having fun, which it just made it so easy to like let loose and just enjoy it, and the beer only helped.
Dude. Man, well,
So
now next time they come for their next farewell tour.
The next last tour,
Yeah.
have to bring you along.
Dude,
It
what
was
would you rate
insane.
them? What would you rate the concert?
I mean, in terms of just a concert, one of the best shows I've ever seen. S-tier performance, easily,
right.
easily. One of the best shows I've ever been to.
Dang, that's f***ing cool. You're going to have to show me some Kiss.
Absolutely.